A video has been published in social media, showing Turkish volunteers fighting for Ukraine. The video is the first evidence of the existence of Turkish fighters within the Ukrainian army. The video published in X social media platform captures 4 Turkish fighters with a Turkish flag in what appears to be a battle venue. One of the soldiers made a video address in Turkish, saying that Turkish fighters have been fighting in Ukraine for 2 years. We have been here for 2 years not only to defend Ukraine, we are also here for all occupied Turkic lands, all the oppressed nations as well. The fighters said they were fighting for the rights of all oppressed nations, women and children. At the end of the video address, the Turkish fighters chanted the words, "Glory to Ukraine." It's unknown in what part of the front line and when the video address has been made. It's believed that up to 30,000 foreign volunteers are fighting against Russia within Ukraine's International Legion that was set up in February 2022, shortly after Moscow's full-fledged invasion.
Allah'ın rahmeti ve bereketi bütün Türk İslam coğrafyasının üzerinde olsun. Bizler Ukrayna'da savaşan Türkler olarak 2 yıldır yalnızca Ukrayna'nın müdafası için değil, bizler burada aynı zamanda işgal altında bulunan bütün Türk toprakları, bütün gariban halklar için de buradayız. Bunlar Azerbaycan, bunlar Türkmenistan, Kazakistan, Kırgızistan, Çeçenistan, Rusya'nın zulüm yapmış olduğu bütün ülkelerdir. Biz yalnızca burada Ukrayna halkı için değil, aynı zamanda dünya üzerinde zulüm gören, katledilen bütün çocuklar ve kadınlar için de buradayız. Slava Ukraini! Geriye slava!
Russia has held the first rehearsal for the upcoming parade to be held in capital Moscow on May 9th to commemorate the Soviet Union's victory in the Great Patriotic War against Nazi Germany. The footage of the rehearsal has been shared by local Telegram channels. As can be seen from the footage, armored vehicles participating in the parade are moving through the streets of Moscow. Vehicles that will participate in the parade have also been observed moving across other Russian cities. 2 additional rehearsals are scheduled for May 3rd and May 7th, with the main event set to take place on Red Square in Moscow on May 9th. Meanwhile, Ukrainian Telegram channels have warned Russians to stay away from the venue of the parade. According to the report published in Telegram app, Russian authorities by withdrawing convoys of vehicles to densely populated areas of Russian cities ahead of the upcoming parade, knowingly expose local residents to serious danger, using them as human shields. We recommend that Russians stay away from places where rehearsals and victory parades are held. If possible, leave the cities. No need to rely on the air defense system. It's definitely not worth it. It represents no less danger for you than Ukrainian long-range means, the report reads. It should be noted that Russian President Vladimir Putin announced a 3-day unilateral ceasefire ahead of the upcoming victory parade. Russian troops are advancing towards border of Ukraine's Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia, and Donetsk regions, Ukrainian media reported on Tuesday, citing Vladislav Voloshin, spokesperson for the Southern Defense Forces. Voloshin stated that Russian army units engaged in 23 combat clashes over the past day in Novopavlivka sector where fierce fighting is ongoing. The adversary is literally pushing toward the border of the Dnipropetrovsk, Zaporizhia, and Donetsk regions. Additionally, the situation remains quite tense in the Kharkiv sector, near areas such as Mali Sherbaki, Lobkov, and Stepov, Voloshin said. He added that Russians are attempting to break through the front line there and secure a foothold, which is not far from Zaporizhia. From there, they would be able to exert fire control over our supply routes from Zaporizhia to eastern Zaporizhia region and shell the city and its suburbs, Voloshin explained. In addition, the situation has worsened near Kherson region, where Russian troops have sought to capture islands on the Dnipro River. Despite Ukrainian troops destroying some of Russian watercraft in the area, some Russian troops managed to land on the islands. Sometimes the enemy leaves 1 or 2 soldiers on these islands. They end up playing Robinson Crusoe there, as they can't be evacuated. Their command drops them ammunition, water, and food using drones. They remain there for several days, and in some cases, they even surrender to our forces. Russian propaganda uses these incidents to claim control over the island zone. But we've seen more of these attempts in the past few days, the military official said. He also expressed concerns over Russian army's use of guided bombs on residential areas in Kherson. He explained that Russians use double strikes on Kherson, first with guided aerial bombs, followed by artillery and drone attacks. About 600 North Korean soldiers have been killed in Russia's war against Ukraine. This number was named by South Korean lawmaker Lee Sun-kun, citing intelligence agency data, Reuters writes. He detailed that the current losses of the DPRK troops are estimated at 4,700 people, including about 600 killed. The bodies of those killed were cremated in Kursk, and then the remains were brought to the DPRK, he said. Lee Sun-kun added that since the beginning of the year, about 2,000 soldiers have been returned to North Korea, who are likely being held in isolation in Pyongyang. According to the legislator, soldiers from the DPRK have shown signs of improving their combat capabilities. Recall that there are approximately 15,000 North Koreans fighting on the Russian side. In the summer of 2024, Russia and the DPRK signed a comprehensive strategic partnership agreement, which provided for mutual assistance in the event of an armed attack. And already in the fall, South Korean intelligence reported that the DPRK sent 3,000 troops to the Russian Federation to participate in the war against Ukraine. These troops were deployed in the Kursk region. In the winter, the Ukrainian armed forces captured 2 North Korean soldiers who fought in the Kursk region. They were taken to Kiev, where SBU investigators worked with them. In January, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky said that one of the captured North Korean soldiers wanted to stay in Ukraine. North Korean leader Kim Jong-un authorized the deployment of armed forces to Russia's Kursk region, citing the need to uphold treaty commitments, according to a statement by the Central Military Commission of the Workers' Party of Korea. The commission said the move was based on an assessment by Kim that the situation met the conditions of Article 4 of the Treaty on Comprehensive Strategic Partnership between Moscow and Pyongyang. The article obliges mutual military support if either party is attacked by an external force. It said military activities by North Korean troops in Russia fully conform to all the provisions and the spirit of the UN Charter and other international laws. On Saturday, the Kremlin announced that Russian forces had driven out Ukrainian troops from Kursk. Russian Chief of the General Staff Valery Gerasimov thanked North Korean soldiers who fought shoulder to shoulder with Russian servicemen.